So I just quickly wanted to talk to you about 1J cylinder heads. I've got two cylinder heads here, one that I've ported and a stock cylinder head that's just got some cams in it. I want to show you the difference between the two because then I can actually get across to everybody how restrictive the 1J heads are, especially on the exhaust ports, and why they die off so early when you fit a quite big turbo, like a 64mm size turbo and above. That's why they're totally done. You can get the air in, just can't get the air out. Let's take a look at the two cylinder heads now, and I'll show you what tool I use to port the cylinder heads as well. So here we have a totally stock exhaust ports on 1J cylinder head. This here is the bolt from the idler wheel on the front of the engine, and it measures 26mm across. And let's put this in this port up. So not very much around the edge there. And if you go down into the throat of the port, it literally just gets stuck straight away. Both sides stuck instantly. So very restrictive flow on the exhaust port. Now let's go to the cylinder head that I ported. So this is the cylinder head that I ported. This is the same bolt from the front of the engine, and let's put this in here. Wow, look at the difference there. You know, it's huge. And I didn't just port the actual port as well, I've done all the throats as well. So now, when you put it in, look, you can get that to disappear down into the valve. Both sides. Bye-bye. So it shows you the difference between the two cylinder heads and the port sizes and then the throats. Now there's a huge difference there. What I had to be very careful was as well is the core shift. So some heads, when they're cast, the actual exhaust port area might have core shifted up or down when they cast it. So I had to make sure that I knew where everything was, because let's say it had core shift up, so there was more material at the bottom of the port and not that much material at the top of the port. If I would have ported it, I may have broken through on the top. So you have to be quite careful of core shift with the cylinder head as well. The size difference is 27mm, 27.9 to 31, 32 there, look, 32, bang on, 32, 32. So yeah, a massive difference in how much material has been removed from the cylinder head. And then the tool that I used to actually port it was a 1-inch tungsten ball spun at 20,000 RPM in a long-nosed electric die grinder. That is how I got the material out of the cylinder head efficiently. I would love a 5-axis CNC machine so I can put it on the machine and let the machine do it, but I'm old school, so here it is. This is a 1-inch tungsten ball. It weighs a hell of a lot, you know. Compared to like that there, it's like 4 times the weight of that bolt. It is very, very heavy. And when you spin these, if you have any issues, they rattle around and they can do some serious damage. So always make sure you're wearing protective equipment when you're using these and spinning them at 20,000 RPM. So that was what I wanted just to talk to you about, was the 1J cylinder head and how restrictive they are when you start pushing big power. That's why I think it's probably going to be the highest flowing 1J cylinder head in the country, and that's why we're going to go and see if we can get the most power out of the 1J engine on this cylinder head. Hopefully it should rev to like 8.5 grand with no issues whatsoever, and it should absolutely sing up there. Also, whilst we're on the topic of the 1J head, we've used Kelford 229Ds on this 1J. It's like 10.2mm lift, good duration for street driving and for power, but on the 1J head you have to machine the area that the lobe spins around in the head to make sure you've got clearance for the lobe on the casting, and I'll quickly show you that now. So the areas that I'm talking about is just on the casting. You can just see there. This area all here gets machined out on both sides of the bucket, and that is for clearance for the lobe. So the head's now on, so it is coming together, thank God. Hopefully by the end of the week I'll have the whole lot together and then I can put it all in the car. Once the engine's then in the car, I can make a really big dent in what needs to be done next. I can then start actually mocking everything all up, mocking where the intercooler pipe's got to go through, making sure the turbo kit has got clearance. I can mount the turbo, I can start making a downpipe, I can start making everything. So really looking forward to that, and I'll probably do some time lapses on it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.